Hello everyone, you're welcome to TM Handcraft where we impact lives. Today we are going to be learning how to sew a scrunchies headband without a sewing machine. This is a hand sewn scrunchie and you can sew this without having a sewing machine. Just with your needle and thread you'll be able to sew this scrunchie headband. And you should also note that you can also use your Ankara material or any material you have at your disposal or any other remaining material you have from the material your tailor used in sewing your clothes. So you can use it in sewing this crunchy. So let's begin. So first of all, you're going to fold our material and measure out 4 inches. This is 4 inches. And the name of this material is mirror face. So you can use satin, Ankara, any material at all to get this scrunchie. All right, I marked out 4 by 40 inches, and this scrunchie is for a mature lady. For a teenager or a young adult, you can use 36 inches. So if you've gotten to this point, I'm very sure you're interested in learning from this channel. Please subscribe and like and turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever we post videos. Thank you. All right, so now we have 4 by 40 inches, and I'm going to be cutting out the measurement for the back side. That is where the rubber is going to be, the elastic band. So I'm doing 3 inches by 14, 3 by 14 inches. So that is for the back parts where you have the elastic. So I'm going to cut that out. So at this point we have two measurements so far, and this is the elastic band I'm going to be using. For this elastic band I'm going to use 9 inches. So I have three measurements mapped out so far. So I'm doing this tutorial for my students that do not have a sewing machine yet. With your needle and thread, you are good to go for this tutorial. So we're moving forward. I'm going to cut out a piece just for the sake of a lining. I'm cutting out this other color so as not to confuse you with the measurements. So with this, I'm just going to cut out 14 inches by 2 by 14 inches basically. So I'm using another color just for you not to get confused with which is for which. So with this lining is going to be inside. That's why I'm using another color. So I cut out 2 by 14 inches. So we set that aside as well. I'm going to go ahead and fix my thread, my needle. Please ensure you use a matching thread because I'm using a yellow material. I'm also matching that with a yellow thread. So whatever color of material you're using, ensure you use the same color of thread. And also make sure to double your thread. That is what I'm doing. Then you knot it. So now I'm going to begin sewing. You just use the basic method of stitching, to sew, and you'll be good. So just watch me closely and you're going to get this tutorial. This is how to sew a scrunchie without a sewing machine. How to sew a scrunchie without a sewing machine. Just with your needle and thread, you'll be able to rock your scrunchie headband. You can even cut out a material from any old cloth you have that is still presentable. You can use that to sew this scrunchie. So this is also the same method of sewing a scrunchie from old clothes. So here it is. I'm done sewing. I just went straight, and if you have your sewing machine, just give it a straight stitch. So with my needle and thread, I was able to sew this within a short period of time, just few minutes, and I'm done. So this part is for the back, which will hold the elastic band. I also sewed it straight the way I sewed the other one. So this is it. I sewed it straight with my needle and thread. So at this point, I just had to find something to pass my elastic band into this material. I'm going to use this screwdriver. That is what I have handy at the moment. So if you have this big safety pin, you can as well use that. So I just want to flip it to the right part. I'm turning it inside out. So now what we're going to do is to pass this material into this mirror face material using whatever material or tool you have at your disposal. So I'm just going to pass it through. Please take note of what I'm doing. I'm still holding the other end so that it doesn't go back inside. So ensure you secure the two parts at the same time. So you watch closely. And you should also note that this the mirror face material where I stitched is in the middle. That is where I'm holding. I faced it. I kept it in the middle, facing me. I don't know if you understand that. Just watch closely. So this is the part where I sewed. You can see it. That is the part where I'm holding. It's going to be in the middle. So I'm using my office pin to secure it. can see that. Now I'm going to sew. This tutorial is very much easy. Just follow the step-by-step method on how to sew a scrunchie without a sewing machine, and you'll be done in some minutes. So stitching that using my needle and thread. So I'm also going to do the same thing for the other end. Ensure your sewing is very strong. Also make sure you tie it very well. When you get to the end of each sewing, just tie it very well. That is what I'm doing at the moment. So I will go ahead to trim off the excess I have at the end. So this is what we have at the moment. As you can see, our scrunchie is getting ready. Now I'm going to insert this elastic into this other part. Also watch the way I do it. I'm making sure the part where I sewed on my my main material is facing the upward part. Ensure it stays in the middle while facing the upward part. Watch how I'm doing it carefully. I'm going to use my office pin to secure it so it doesn't shift. So this is it. Make sure that part that is sewn stays in the middle facing upward. Now I'm going to use my needle and thread and sew it. I'm sewing it to make sure I hold the elastic together to the material, the same way we did for the first part. Now I'm done. Make sure you tie it, you knot it very well. That is what I'm doing. Make sure it's well knotted. Now, whatsoever excess you have, you can go ahead and trim it as I'm doing. So this is it. You do the exact same thing for the other end. As you can see, just with my needle and thread, without a sewing machine, I'm sewing a scrunchie. It doesn't cost much to look fashionable and look good with just your needle and thread. And even with an old material, you can rock your scrunchie headband. So I did the same thing for the other end. So this is it. Removed my office pin, and I'm also going to trim off any excess I have at the end. Yeah, so this is for the back. You can see that how neat it is even without a sewing machine. So at this point it's very tricky here, so you're going to look carefully. I'm also trimming off that excess part just to have a neat work. Now at this point you're going to face the both sides without the sewing. You can see the sewing is at the back, the sewing is at the back. Now the both sides without the sewing, place them together and close it up. You can see it. I'm doing that again. The both sides without the sewing, drawing them together and close it up. So this is it. I'm going to stitch. You have to be a bit careful at this point because you have too many materials wrapped up together. I would also advise you use a needle that is very strong, the big size of needle, because this part could be hard because we have many materials joined. So just take your time and sew it together. So I'm making sure I tie that very well. Yep, so it's strong enough. So I just want to trim off the excess parts. You can see that. You can see. So at this point, all you need to do is to pull out, just to pull out this part, pull it out just, and that is it. You can see how neat it is in front. So this is it. We are doing the same thing for the other end. I'm trimming out the excess as usual. So the same way you did the first time, face the two parts that do not have the sewing, the two parts that doesn't have the sewing, place them facing each other, then close it up. I know so many people have been asking, what about we that do not have a sewing machine? What can we do? I believe this video is for you. If you don't have a sewing machine, these are one of the many things you can do without a sewing machine. So take advantage of this video and make use of any material you have with you to sew a scrunchie. This is an easy scrunchie sewing pattern, and without a sewing machine, you're good to go. So you can do it yourself. So we are almost done. This is a hand sewn scrunchie with elastic. It's beginner friendly and you can sew it without a sewing machine. So we're almost there. So I'm also trimming that off. And now the last thing you're going to do is to pull out the part with elastic band carefully. And you can see the part where you sewed is covered. It's very easy and our scrunchie is ready. So this is how to sew a scrunchie without a sewing machine. Your hand sewn scrunchie is ready at this moment. Just in few minutes, you'll be able to sew a scrunchie. So this is it. Please make sure you tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to subscribe to this channel. Comment on this video and tell me if you were able to sew a scrunchie headband for yourself. And I'll see you in my next video.